Hello students. In last lecture we have solved numerical on Hurwitz's stability criteria. Okay. Today we will solve numerical on Raoult's stability criteria. So look at the numerical. Here the characteristic equation is given. Okay. First of all we will see how to form Raoult's array. Okay. Just like the Hurwitz determinant, we have to obtain Raoult's array from the characteristic equation. Okay. So look at this. Here I have written characteristic equation is equal to d of s, where d of s is nothing but the denominator of the transfer function. So how you will get a characteristic equation? By equating denominator to 0. So this is nothing but the characteristic equation. Okay. Now see. Now we have to obtain Raoult array. Okay. So look at this. How you will put the coefficient here? Here first of all I have written the s raised to power n, s raised to power n minus 1, s raised to power n minus 2 up to s raised to power 0. Okay. From this characteristic equation I have just written from s raised to power n, that is highest power of s, to the lowest s raised to power 0. Okay. Now see how we will put. First of all here s raised to power n is given. Okay. So look at this, s raised to power n is there. So coefficient of s raised to power n is a0. So here I have written a0. And same like the Hurwitz determinant, I will skip one term. Okay. So I will skip this term and I will write a2. Okay. So look at this, a0, a2, then next will be a4, skip one term, next will be a6. Okay. Similarly, so first row we will complete directly with starting of the coefficient of s raised to power n. We will skip one term and we will complete that row. Okay. Now for the second, s raised to power n minus 1. Okay. So look at this. The coefficient of s raised to power n minus 1 is a1. Okay. So I have written here a1, and same like the first row, I will complete the second row. Okay. So I have started with the coefficient of s raised to power n minus 1 as a1. I will skip one term, then a3, again skip one term, a5, skip one term, a7. Okay. So like that, these first two rows we will directly obtain from the characteristic equation. Okay. So first two rows we have obtained from the characteristic equation. And from where we will start, again I will repeat, s raised to power n, we will start with the coefficient of s raised to power n, that is a0. And here s raised to power n minus 1 row is there. So we will start with the coefficient of s raised to power n minus 1. Okay. So first two rows you have to obtain from the given characteristic equation. Okay. Now next. So next we have to calculate, or we need to obtain the coefficient of remaining rows. Okay. But see here, the last row is actually s raised to power 0. Okay. So again we will substitute. Here s raised to power 0 is 1. So coefficient of s raised to power 0, it will be a1. So here I have directly substituted an. Here I have directly substituted a. So what we need to find? We need to find the coefficient of intermediate row. Okay. First two rows from the characteristic equation and last will be also from the characteristic equation. Okay. But for calculating the intermediate rows, we will use some formulas. Okay. So look at this. Here I have written B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3. So what are that B1, B2, B3 and C1, C2, C3? We will see. So see, now next I need to obtain this row. Okay. So here I will not write directly the coefficient from the characteristic equation. So how I am calculating? Look at this. For calculating the coefficient of s raised to power n minus 2 row. So here I have substituted B1. B1 is any constant term. So look at this. B1 is equal to, what is formula to get B1? So here I am using first two rows, or what I will say, suppose you have to calculate the value of B1. So you need to get the rows just above this row. Okay. We will consider these two rows just above the row where we need to calculate the coefficients. Okay. So look at this. Here I have written B1 is equal to. So how I am writing B1 is equal to A1 into A2. Okay, so A1 into A2 minus here A0 into A3. Okay, again I am repeating A1 A2 minus A0 A3 upon A1. Okay, so just look at this B1 B2 B3. Here denominator is same. When we are calculating the value of third row, okay, so denominator is A1. Okay, similarly for next also we will see the denominator for all these three formulas are same. So first we will complete this third row, then we will come to the next. Okay, so now see, we have calculated B1. Again I am repeating what is B1. B1 is equal to A1 A2 minus A0 A3 upon A1. A1 A2 minus A0 A3 upon A1. So what about B2? For B2 again you will consider the this row and this row. Okay, for B2 you will consider the first row. First row is fixed. Okay, first row, and the next row, next column is A4 A5. So we will consider first these two elements from first column and these two elements from third column. So how we will get B2? So B2 is equal to, look at this, A1 A4 minus this two term minus A0 A5. Look at this, A1 A4 minus A0 A5 upon again A1. Okay, so similarly we will calculate B3. Now just guess how we will calculate B3. For B3 again the first column or first two elements or from first column are fixed and we will shift to the next column. So next remaining column is this. Okay, so how we will get B3 here? So B3 is equal to A1 into A6 minus A0 A7. Look at this, A1 into A6 minus A0 A7 upon the denominator is same. That is the coefficient just above the third row is A1. Okay, so this one. Now next we need to calculate the coefficient of fourth row. This is actually the fourth row, this is third, this is fourth row. Okay, we need to calculate the coefficient of fourth row. Okay, so for calculating the coefficient of fourth row we will consider two rows just above the fourth row. Okay, so these two rows we will consider now, that is second and third. Okay, so similarly same formula we will apply. So look at this, for calculating the coefficient of third row, now first we need to calculate C1. So C1 is equal to, we will consider these two rows. Okay, so again the formula is B1 A3 minus A1 B2 upon B1. B1 A3 minus A1 B2 upon B1. Okay, so again you can check the denominator is same here. Okay, now we will come back to C2. So what is C2? For C2 again the first column is same and these two elements are same. So multiply this, B1 A5 minus A1 B3. B1 A5 minus A1 B3 upon B1. Okay, now last one is C3. Suppose here term is not given, you can put here before, and suppose before is 0, so you will multiply it with 0. Okay, so C3 is equal to, look at this, B1 A7, look at this, B1 A7 minus A1 B4 upon B1. Okay, so I hope you got the concept, but this will be more clear after substituting the actual values. Okay, so we will consider one simple numerical to form the Routh array. Okay, so suppose this characteristic equation is given and the question is asked to comment on the stability with the help of Routh stability criteria. Okay, comment on the stability with the help of Routh stability criteria. So they see this is characteristic equation. Okay, so what we need to do here, we need to obtain Routh array. So that is called as Routh array. Okay, so I will form the Routh array here. Okay, so from where I will start? I will start with the highest power of s. So s cube, s square, okay, s raised to power 1, then s raised to power 0. Okay, so look at this, what I told you, first two rows will obtain from the characteristic equation. Okay, so I will start with the coefficient of S cube. Okay, what is coefficient of S cube? Here it will be 1. Okay, then we will skip one term, so next is 14. What about next? 14, we will skip one term. Okay, so after 20, no term, so it will be 0. Okay, then come to the second row. Okay, we need to obtain the coefficient of S square. So look at the S square. What is coefficient of S square? That is 4. So I will put here 4. Okay, so next, after 4 I need to skip one term, so I will put here 20. After 20 there is no term, so you will put here 0. Okay, so last row, look at this, s raised to power 0. So here what is s raised to power 0? That is 1. So what is the coefficient of s raised to power 0? That is 20. Okay, so first two rows we have obtained from the characteristic equation, and last row is also from the characteristic equation. Now intermediate row we need to use the formula. Okay, so what I will do here, I will just write here b1. Okay, and we will calculate the values here. Okay, so you can directly put the value, no need to show there b1 b2, but as we are solving first numerical and I need to show the formula. So look at this, for calculating b1 you have to consider these two rows just above the third row. Okay, so here 4 into 14, look at this, 4 into 14 minus 1 into 20 upon 4. Okay, so this is the value of b1. We have to calculate, we will put answer, but before that we will substitute b2. Okay, for b2 what we need to do, again we will consider these two rows, and these two elements are fixed. Okay, so 4 into 0, so it will be 0, minus 1 into 0, it will be 0 upon 4. Okay, so your answer is 0. Okay, so now I will replace this term with the value we have calculated. Okay, so 4 into 4, here I have the answer that 9. Okay, and here answer is 0. So I will replace this b1 b2 with the appropriate value. So I will write here 9 and here 0. Okay, so this is the Routh array, but now we have to calculate the stability. Okay, so how you will calculate the stability from Routh's stability criteria? Okay, so we will come back to this. See, this is generalized characteristic. We have formed the Routh array. Here also we have formed the Routh array. Okay, so how you will calculate whether system is stable or unstable? First of all, the condition is that all power of s, all the terms of s should be present. There should not be sign changes. What I told you, the necessary and sufficient condition, there should not be sign changes in this equation. Okay, so these two terms are common. Now next, just we have commented in case of Hurwitz's criteria, all subdeterminants should be positive, then system will be stable. Then what is criteria to define stability in case of Routh stability criteria? For that, you have to consider first column of Routh array. Okay, this is first column of Routh array. For system to be stable, there should not be any sign changes in first column of Routh array. Again, I am repeating. System will be stable if there are no sign changes in first column of Routh array. Okay, so as you can see here, all terms in first column of Routh array are positive. So what will be comment on the stability? System is stable. System is stable. Okay, so just assume that suppose there are some sign changes in the same Routh array. I am just putting the negative value here. Okay, generally this will be positive because it is given, but just assume that suppose this is negative. So what will happen? You can check that here the term is positive, this is negative, this is positive, and this is also positive. Okay, so how you will check the stability from Routh criteria? Again, we will consider the first column of Routh array, then check whether there are any sign changes. Yes, there are sign changes, but how you will calculate the number of sign change? Look at this. Here from positive to negative there is one sign change. Okay, from negative to positive second sign change, then from positive to positive no sign change. Okay, suppose we are considering this pattern and I ask you how many sign changes are there. So there are two sign changes. So two sign changes means two roots. Look at this, two roots are on right hand side of plane. Okay, if there are sign changes, so system is unstable. So what will be your conclusion? System is unstable because we have studied that. See, when we have not shown the sign changes, we have commented system is stable. So system stable means all roots are on left hand side of j omega axis. Okay, conclusion is all roots are on LHP. Okay, but here we have taken some assumption just to show the system is unstable. So directly I have shown with this sign change here. Then we have calculated here number of sign changes. Okay, so first conclusion is if there are sign changes, so system is unstable. Okay, now next question is, if system is unstable, so how many roots are on right hand side of j omega axis? So answer is number of sign changes is equal to number of roots on right hand side of j omega axis. So two sign changes, so two roots will be on right hand side of j omega axis. Okay, so look at this. Here order of the characteristic equation is 3. Okay, so there must be 3 roots for this characteristic equation. So out of these 3 roots, suppose you are getting 2 sign changes. So what you will say, out of these 3, 2 are on right hand side plane and 1 will be on left hand side plane. Okay, so are you getting this concept? See, in case of Hurwitz criteria, okay, we cannot calculate the number of roots on the right hand side if system is unstable. We can only comment whether system is stable or unstable. But if you will compare the Raoult stability criteria with Hurwitz stability criteria, the important thing is that we can form the Raoult array for higher order also. Okay, there is no need to calculate determinant. So this is the simplest method. And second thing, if the system is unstable, in that case you can write the answer that number of roots on right hand side of the plane. Okay, so I hope you got the concept. Okay, next in next class we will solve more numericals. So thank you students.